lot of places. LA, the problem with LA, there's too many places and not enough time.
Yeah, and so I agree with you. Obviously it's a huge fucking market, and the food scene out there has just been fucking popping off for like the last 5-10 years. Like, no vacancy will obviously, because we've caught on so well here in Colorado, we will 1,000% expand. We're going to look at other cities like your boys down in Texas. We're going to look to our friends in the Pacific Northwest, and we'll shout out some, cities in the Southeast that are fucking hipster friendly. But LA has already been dominated by this huge food scene. Everyone from like the food god, who's 3 million fucking followers deep. I mean, he's heavily entrenched in that market. How difficult is it for someone to make their bones out there? Like, do you go out there frequently? Do you know folks in the game? Like, how tough is it out there for your friends to make a name for themselves as well as just make a living?
The guy that's in San Bernardino, I've been talking to him on Instagram. He's got a food truck. He just changed locations. I'd like to meet him. He's a young cat. I'd like to see, his operation and what he's doing and support him. I think it's important for the guys that have been around and to help the younger guys and see what they're doing and help them out in whatever they can.
Classic veteran rookie move right there. It's like fucking training camp over here. We're talking to a vet who's working. I mean, for anyone that watches Hard Knocks, here we are. We have fucking Fells working with that hippie badass or that hippie tight end from Cleveland. So yeah.
But LA is just a different market, dude. There's just so many good places in LA that it's hard for the guys that are mediocre to even make it out there. And food is inexpensive in LA. Like, we pay a premium here in Colorado. You get a hell of a good meal in California for, a third of the price of what we pay here. It's just fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it helps that they're obviously a port city, which is huge, and they're coming off the water, whereas, I mean, I guess every port city would be coming off the water. You fucking idiot, Kip. But, like, things like that, yeah, like, I agree with you. I mean, we have this, it's also a stigma as well. Like, we don't have good seafood while we're sitting here eating, like, shrimp that's so fresh it'll pop in your mouth. It's like a fucking virgin's cherry. It's great. Like, things like that. But at the same time, out there, the bang for your buck, it goes a lot further.
Absolutely.
So, like, what are some places? Let's talk a little bit about it. You are the vet. You know the game of, I guess, the Mexican food as well as the nation's, I guess, kind of like the heartbeat of the nation's food, because you do travel everywhere from Atlanta, San Antonio, fucking Northeast. I mean, you're everywhere.
Well,
so where's your places to jam?
Dude, I was raised in LA, as I told you guys last time. So LA still, I wouldn't call it home because Denver's home, but it's still one of the places that I feel very comfortable in. I like California, and I like the food. There's a lot of everything in California. You can't go wrong. I mean, you can eat a great ramen for $10 in the middle of summer, anywhere. It's just awesome. Great sushi, great tacos. You can stop at any taco truck and get tacos for $1, for under $1. And there's just like diamonds in the rough everywhere.
So we went to San Diego about this time last year. It was a buddy of ours' birthday. It was like a 15-man crew. We were partying on Mission Beach, but our house obviously not. You get a pitching wedge to the beach, whatever, but it was also a pitching wedge the other way to like authentic motherfucking tacos and authentic, Mexican cocaine. So it was like you get a little bit of everything, but those tacos were unbelievable. Like I still dream about them. Like I remember the tortillas, albeit I'm not a corn guy. I'm usually a flour guy. Like it's fantastic.
You are white.
Yeah, I'm as white as they come, dude. Look how pale and sunburned I am. Wearing fucking Reeboks.
Dude, San Diego's awesome. They have Oscar's seafood tacos there that I love. The Iron Horse is awesome for the lobster rolls.
We went there.
Did you? The Iron Horse? Yeah, it's a cool place to eat. A fucking awesome.
A lot of foot traffic, young people, dude. Bars galore. I think we got a little slob kebab, but it was a good time.
Yeah, I could believe that. And then you go across the border and you go to Puerto Nuevo and get the full lobster. You go down there. It's only 45 minutes away, and you get like fresh tortillas.
Is that Tijuana?
Dude, it's further south than Tijuana.
I don't fucking know.
So it's between Ensenada and Tijuana. It's right there, but you look over the ocean. Outside of a restaurant, and you look over the ocean, and they got the lobster traps out there, dude. They're catching them there. They're fucking, splitting them down the middle, cooking them with butter. fresh tortillas, rice, beans. Who would have thought that rice and beans go to the lobster? But it goes great, dude. It's a fucking awesome time.
Well, we won't harp too terribly much on lobster, but we will tease. We have some friends, the crew from Senor Bear and a couple other of their friends. They will be joining us on the podcast in a couple weeks. They're opening the main shack over in the Highlands, Denver. Yeah. We're going to fully tour that. We're going to eat some fucking buttery up lobster.
I'm jealous, dude.
No, we'll bring your ass with us. We're going to you're almost pretty much a full-fledged member at this time. Just join the no vacancy team. Let's go ahead. Be our Hispanic correspondent.
I do talk to you more than I talk to my employees, dude. I mean, we text and DM like constantly every fucking day. It's fucking amazing.
I'm not gonna lie. If you're not doing something entertaining, you're at least saying something entertaining. And so, obviously, we'll harp again. If you're not following him and you're following us, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go follow a fat guy in Denver. If you type in the word fat and you're in the Denver local market, you're gonna be one of the first fuckers that pop up. So
yeah, I am fat.
I wouldn't even say that. So the first time we met, obviously, it wasn't too long ago. But I was like, this motherfucker's not even that big. What the fuck's he talking about? But as they say, you can't trust a skinny chef. So...
Well, I do eat a lot, and I think the fat comes from, everything else that goes on. Fat is flavor. Fat is hanging out. Fat is...
Budweiser. Fat is Budweiser. Shout out to Kill.
Yeah. Yeah. Fat is everything. You hang out with somebody, you enjoy yourself. It's a good time, man. It's a big fat bowl of soup. It's a good time.
I fucking love it. So we've literally been sitting here like we've harped on for like 5 hours before we even decided to crack this whole thing out. And we were like, let's just bust out a quick 30 minutes. And here we are about 20 in. So let's talk about some things that we were like, shit, this is a good conversation that should be had on the podcast. One of those questions was something that CB3, our foodie who asked you the chopped question, chopped box, Chris?
Yeah. Tall guy.
He asked Ian.
Tall white guy, yeah.
We all look the same, you racist
you do.
dick. He asked Ian this past week at Tavernetta a great question, and I feel like this is something that I wish we had asked you as well, because you are not only a charismatic guy, but also a food guy, as a booze guy. He asked the question, if you were to have a dinner with 4 people, and we'll say yourself included, so 4 total, you and a 3. It's a 4 top.
We're going to have a 4
you
top.
and 3, yeah, it's a 4 top.
I don't have 4 friends,
It's really
dude.
hard to get a fucking 5 top in this town. So we'll say we're getting a 4 top in Denver.
That's a 30-minute wait, dude.
Yeah, dead or alive, who's the LFAT taking with them to supper? Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
Herpes or not? Jeremy, you're welcome.
Bourdain, obviously, because he passed away. Everybody's got to have him on his list. He's a cool guy.
Love you.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. Everybody wanted to hang out with him, be him. So he's at the table.
He's like Ron Burgundy.
Absolutely, dude.
Girls wanted to be with him and men wanted to be him. Classic Tony.
And I like Bill Clinton, dude. That's a dude that I would love to have a fucking drink with. He's a cool guy. I would love to sit there and hear his stories, dude. Him and also Piano Man.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, dude. Nice. He has a fucking history, dude. I'd love to talk to that guy.
All right, so let's dive in. I love it. That list is just that's almost like one of those tables that like in New York that you'd see them all like peppered around a restaurant.
Yeah, I'd be shut up and just like listening to the conversation. That's what I want to just hear their stories.
And I have a really big problem with shutting up, but that's a table that I couldn't agree more. That's a fantastic list. What would be?
I think you're drunk, dude.
Yeah, it would. But I'm a Billy Joel fan, even if I'm sober. He's a guy I'll listen to when I wake up. Uptown Girl, Piano Man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Only the Good Die Young. Shout out to our boy AK. That's what I want. Like those are the people you want. Like those are good, down to earth followers, listeners. People that want to get to know those people more. Like I think Tony was mentioned on Chris's podcast on Tuesday's episode. But like, what would be one question you'd ask Bill? What was the first question you'd ask Bill Clinton if you could?
I'd probably be...
How many knuckles deep did you get?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of those questions, He had something to do with that one guy that was dropping off drugs in the U.S. I'd like to talk to him about that. He pardoned people. There's just a bunch of questions that he could never answer,
Yeah, and so neither of us are painting our picture as red or blue here, but holy shit, Bill Clinton, you would love to have a sitting president. Like, JFK would probably be mine, especially because he's got a half brain at this point. Yeah. But imagine if he had a full brain. Give me whatever it was, 66, when he was, really in his prime, or whatever it was. Give me that young John F. Kennedy. And then I think the other ones, I'm probably going to follow suit. Like, I could switch out Billy Joel with somebody, but why? Billy Joel's got a fucking stoic list, just a killer list of talent.
The list of his wives,
oh, man.
The list of his girlfriends is enough to make us have like a whole afternoon of questions.
Which one was your favorite?
Oh, Chrissy. Yeah.
So Brinkley,
yeah.
You are, okay, so we're the same generation. You got me by a couple of years.
A couple?
I know who she is, but I'm going with, and you should know this chick. It's that bitch that has the cookbook. Katie O'Leary.
The last one.
Yeah. The last wife he had.
The last one, number 7.
She's on Beat Bobby Flay's TV show all the time. I can't remember what her last name is. She has long black hair. She's got to be 40 years his junior. And, this guy's been beating up Fresh Box since he was since 1968. He and JFK would probably do it.
Yeah.
Billy Fresh.
Yeah. The questions we would ask, it's complete. You need a female perspective in this thing because hers would be completely different than ours too.
So let's go ahead and give a shout out to our friends over there at Kinship Work as well as Blue Mountain Bell. We love our friends Lizzie and Channing. They kind of keep us humbled as well as they keep us in line when they're our guests. But since it's just you and I and we're fuck tons of beers deep, let's go into this a little bit more. So we've talked a little bit of BJ, a.k.a. Billy Joel. We've talked a little bit of Billy C. as to, in fact, let's talk about that for a second. Would you rather be Bill Clinton or would you rather be Bill Joel?
Oh, Clinton, dude.
There's something about power. I get it. And the fact that his foundation is the most corrupt, rich fucking thing in the world.
Money and power. Yeah.
I feel that Billy Joel's going to live longer than Bill Clinton because the stress in his life is very low. He's just a guy that's just partying his dick off for the last 30 years in fucking New York, L.A., and across the world, whereas Clinton's had a strain and responsibility. You still would rather be old WJC?
Oh, yeah, dude. I would love that. He had access to the Secret Service. He had... he could get his button, finger on the buttons to the nuclear war. He had tons of power. Just to hear some of the information he knows and he got to see that none of us get to see, I think it'd be interesting. Yeah. And he's so charismatic, dude. When you hear him talk,
oh, man.
Dude, I understand why so many women took off their clothes. Dude, I would take off my clothes. It's just, you hear him speak and it's just amazing.
And so I've heard this story as well. It's, like how some people walk into a room and they just take all of the attention. It doesn't even matter if it was when he was governor or if he was president or if it was post-president, his wife was just being a cunt out there. Mm-hmm. It was, he walks into a room and he doesn't even ask for it, but everyone turns their attention to him. He takes that from a room. And at the same time, he is the most charismatic man in the room, as well as the most personal and usually the most caring. You're going to be very slighted. It would be very difficult for you to find someone that hates Bill for his personal attributes and for his personal character if they don't fucking put their political bias involved. Yeah. I remember, obviously you're older than I am, but my babysitter growing up, she was like, I love me some Bill Clinton. And she made the point was, and I was probably about the age where it started to become a conversation that made sense was, dude, if you're not going to get your lollipop licked, what the fuck are you doing here? If you're not trying, you're just wasting fucking time. And I do believe that even if you substituted George W. or Barry O., all of those guys would agree. Fucking Billy C. was fucking killing it. That guy lived his best life. And he's not dead yet, but I couldn't
He's
agree
getting
more.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Barrio was Chris's, and then Sammy B chose
Barrio.
George.
Who's
So,
Barrio?
oh, Barack.
Oh, Barack. Yeah.
I like him. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's been very humanized since, and we won't dive into politics.
Yeah.
But he's been very like, oh man, we wish we had him back. But at the same time, it's like, man, he was just